Hello and welcome to Nerdarchy. For nerds, by nerds, I'm Nerdarchy Steve. Today I'm hanging out with this nerd.
Nerdarchy Ted, how you doing this fine and lovely evening, sir?
I'm doing great. I'm ready to talk about some 2024 Unearthed Arcana. We got new subclasses for Forgotten Realms. And also, we haven't done this in a few
2024,
weeks. Yeah.
2025 Forgotten Realms subclasses.
Yeah, but the rules, it's the 2024
Oh,
rules, I guess is
okay.
what I
All
meant.
right. All right.
You're not wrong,
Awesome.
though. You're not wrong. It is 2025. But yeah. So we're gonna get our first look. We're gonna be kind of doing this the same way we've been doing it, where we're gonna go through all the subclasses, and if there's questions and things you want to talk about, we'll take those at the very end. But we got a bunch of them. Is it seven, six? How many of them is there?
I don't know. I read this a couple of weeks ago as health unfortunately kept us away from being able to actually do this in a slightly more timely manner.
Yeah, I'm very disappointed about that, and it's all my fault because I was down with the flu for a couple of weeks, folks.
Hey, I wasn't willing to point any fingers. I was willing to share the blame, but yeah, it's your fault.
Yeah, my fault. I'll fess up. I'll own it. All right, so let's jump into it. Forgotten Realms subclasses Unearthed Arcana 2025 College of the Moon.
So this one here, talks about adding, the Moonshae Isles, the bards, because this is very much, attached to the Forgotten Realms. Therefore, they wanted to add, subclasses that could fit those particular locales and settings.
Yeah, the Moonshade trilogy was like the very one of the very first trilogies I read for Forgotten Realms. Some good stuff. So we got College of the Moon, inspire allies with primal tales. College of the Moon traces its origins to the ancient druidic circles of the Moonshae Isles, who entrusted the first bards of this tradition with chronicling the stories of the islands and their people. Bards of this college draw from the Isles' fey magic and primal power of the Moonwells to bolster their allies, protect the natural world, and inspire their bardic works. Such works tend to be based on well-known Moonshae myths such as the whimsy of fairy pranksters, the viciousness of the beast, and the mysteries of the Moonwells.
So all in all, very, very, thought invoking when it comes to creating your bard. That's one of the things that I love about what they've been doing with each of the subclasses is to take that that first paragraph and really sell the sizzle about what the subclass is supposed to do, and it should either inspire you to be like, dude, I'm down for this character, mechanics aside, or no, this one's not for me, I should move on. And so far I've been impressed with what they've got for their lore drops.
Yeah. Well, and they've also been doing it in a very short, concise method as well.
Hmm.
All right,
So
so let's
level
jump
three,
into the abilities.
level three, you're gonna get, Moonshae Folktales. As a magic action, you can invoke a power of Folktale, imbuing yourself with primal magic until you use the feature again. When you use this feature, choose which of the following Folktales you invoke. Your choice gives you certain benefits while this magic is active. So you've got Tale of Life, which basically, when you restore hit points to a creature with a spell, you can expend one of your Bardic Inspiration die and restore a number of hit points equal to the roll on the die. You can only do it once per turn. You can take Tale of Gloam. When you invoke the Tale of Mystery and Secrets, you can use a bonus action to give a creature Bardic Inspiration. Or when you give a creature Bardic Inspiration, you can take the Disengage or Hide action as part of that bonus action. Very nice. Or you can take the Tale of Mirth. When an enemy you can see within 60 feet of yourself succeeds on a saving throw, you can take a reaction to expend a Bardic Inspiration. The creature must roll the Bardic Inspiration die and subtract the number rolled from the save's total, possibly causing the save to fail.
So you,
So, good.
I was just gonna say, you're getting healing, you're getting debuffing, you're getting utility in there as well.
So
So
you make the choice, once and you have it for the day, or you can just be like, all right, well, I'm gonna change this out and go on. So it's pretty easy to kind of switch back and forth. So I love abilities that are like that to let you go loosey goosey with them.
Yeah, and so it gives you some options. Level 3, you also get the Primal Lurist. You learn Druidic and one cantrip from the Druid spell list. It counts as a bard spell for you, but doesn't count against the number of cantrips. Additionally, choose one of the following skills: animal handling, insight, medicine, nature, perception, or survival. You have proficiency in that skill. So
So you're a bard, you're already skill heavy, but getting access to another that makes you more attached to the Fey realm, more druidic. I'm digging it.
yeah, plus another cantrip, which you have some fun choices from the druid. So far, right? It's like I would say the level 3 features are decent. They're not amazing, but I've also seen much worse.
Indeed. Moving on to level 6, you get Blessing of the Moonwells. You always have Moonbeam spell prepared. And as a bonus action, you can cast Moonbeam without expending a spell slot. So bonus action, you're casting it, which is nice. I don't know what the official casting time of Moonbeam is. But, when you do it, you glow faintly while you maintain concentration on the spell. Shed dim light out to 5 feet. Whenever a creature fails a saving throw against Moonbeam, another creature of your choice that you can see within 60 feet regains 2d4 hit points. And you can use this feature, or once you use the feature, you can't use it again until you finish a long rest. You can also restore use of it by expending a level 3 or plus spell slot. So,
Yeah,
not too shabby.
it's not too shabby, but also, I is Moonbeam a third level spell or a fourth level spell?
Let's look that up.
Yeah, for some reason, maybe I'm wrong, but for some reason, I was thinking it was a fourth level spell. But that might be a bit weak for a fourth
Moonbeam
level.
is second.
Oh, never mind. Totally
Um,
in a different direction there.
yeah, so it is a second level spell. So you are getting a little bit of light. You're getting a 2d4 heal, and you're getting it to be able to cast it as a bonus action instead of an action. So is that worth the use of a level 3 spell slot? I don't know. But getting it for free and always having it prepared, it's not too bad if you ask me.
Yeah, it's not too bad, and also, well, it's a concentration spell. But once you initially cast it, you can keep concentrating on it, so you
Right.
can cast other spells that aren't concentration spells. So it does give you some options. Again, I think this is a decent ability. But so far, I think I like the lore and kind of theme more than I do the features.
Sure, but sometimes you have to lean into what's there. I've often taken or I've often done or seen others take a class that's suboptimal
Hmm.
because the theme of what the class does is fun and interesting, and not every character needs to be power gamed to the max. So
Heresy. Level 14, Bolstered Folk Tales. The power of the Moonshade Folk Tales improves when you use Tale of Life or Tale of Mirth. You can roll D6 and use the number rolled in place of expending a Bardic Inspiration die. When you use your Tale of Gloom, you can also teleport up to 30 feet to an unoccupied space you can see as part of that bonus action. So now your Tale of Gloom is getting buffed, and now you can pretty much get free bardic inspirations, um, but you're just getting them at the lesser dot.
yeah, and being able to use your abilities more often are going to be a lot more fun and make the power of this class stand out. So I do feel it once you get to 14th level, that does kind of balance out the scales a little bit for this particular subclass. It is still hard to beat everything that the lore bard brings to the table. Um, but all in all, I like this. This is not, of the subclasses within this document, this is not the one that I would lean towards.
Yeah, you're
So
not chopping to play this one.
no,
Yeah,
I mean there's plenty of other great bards that I would look to play for first.
yeah, theme and lore, decent abilities on the mediocre side. All right, so now let's jump into Unearthed Arcana 2025. and take a look at Forgotten Realms and what they have to offer when it comes to the knowledge domain.
So I was excited reading this one, not only because this was literally the first, hardcore character that I played for fifth edition, over a decade ago. Uh, you know, but reading it and seeing the tweaks and the change that they made kind of a little bit made me reminisce about my character and how things might have been a little bit different if I had played this character, played this rule set back then, because they decided, all right, well, we don't have a psionic cleric yet, and this is knowledge is brain, knowledge is the mind. Let's turn this one into a psionic subclass.
Yeah, it does lean that way a little bit. You're also kind of a cleric stan, so
It's true. Cleric is and has been for a long time my favorite subclass. You can do so much with it, but that's not what this video is about. So first up, in here it goes through the different updates of what it brings versus what it had before. So your blessing of knowledge now gives proficiency with a type of artisan tools that it didn't have before. But you still get two skills and expertise in those two skills, but instead of automatically being Arcana and History, you now have Arcana, History, Nature, or Religion that you gain proficiency with and expertise. Holy crap, awesome.
so do we want to start beginning with kind of like the flavor?
Oh, sure, sure. The knowledge domain values learning and understanding above all. Clerics who tap into this domain study esoteric lore, collect old tomes, delve into the secret places of the earth, and examine the processes of the mind itself. Gods of knowledge vary from masters of arcane magic to patrons of craft and invention. To them, knowledge is more valuable than material wealth, and the desire to learn is an act of worship. Libraries, universities, and other institutions dedicated to education all draw on the power of the knowledge domain. On Faerun, clerics of the knowledge domain worship deities of learning and ingenuity like Agma and Gond. Other powerful deities such as Asmodeus, Mistra, Svaris, and Jergal also count clerics of knowledge domain among their devotees, as do less common deities like Denir, the scribe of Agma, and Azuth, servant of Mistra.
Yeah, I kind of
And
like the
if
way it like kind of leans in other directions, not just the straight up knowledge gods.
Yep. And if I mispronounced any of them, because I know there are definitely plenty of Forgotten Realms enthusiasts out there. I know some of them, but I don't necessarily know all of them. So if I mispronounced something, it was not intentional.
Yeah, and the knowledge domains kind of like subheading is unearth secrets and master the mind. Third level, we kind of went over blessings of knowledge, and that's where you get, one artisan's tool of your choice and two of the following skills. And again, Ted kind of going over them. You have expertise in those, so this gives you this kind of guarantees like not every single knowledge domain cleric is going to be exactly the same now, at least.
Yeah, I do like that. So you could take this, be like, okay, well, I'm religion and nature is going to be very different from somebody who decides to take Arcana and history. If you want to be super into religion, you absolutely can be now. It was one of those things that was kind of amusing that when I played this subclass, that I had expertise in Arcana and history, and I had religion because I was a cleric, but it was like, well, I know more about magic than I do religion as a cleric. Wait,
Yes.
what?
So you get your knowledge domain spells. Third level, you get command, comprehend languages, detect magic, detect thoughts, identify, mind spike.
That's a lot of spells. Fifth level, you're going to get Dispel Magic, Non-Detection, and Tongues. Seventh level, you're going to get Arcane Eye, Banishment, and Confusion. And then ninth level, Legend Lore, Scrying, and Synaptic Static.
Uh,
So a lot of great spells in there. These are automatically on your prepared list. No need to take them. They're automatically there for you. So a lot of great stuff.
yeah, so the reason why third level is so loaded is because cleric, you have to wait to third level to get your domain now, so I'm getting it at first. Also, they go through and kind of like in the what's different, what's new. Like we wanted to make sure there was more combat options for the cleric. Now, I don't really know that your knowledge domain cleric really needs more combat options, but that's the way they're going with 5e. That being said, though, some of the combat action options they are giving you, like Mind Spike and Banishment and Synaptic Static, or also Confusion, are all great combat spells.
Absolutely. But we're not done yet for third level. You're also going to get Mind Magic. As a magic action, you can expend one use of your channel divinity to manifest your magical knowledge. Choose one of the following. Choose one spell from the knowledge domain spells that you have prepared. As part of that action, you can cast that spell without expending a spell slot or needing material components. Now, I know a third level, might not be outside the realm of possibility to be like, oh, well, do I have my 100 gold piece, gem to cast Identify? Well, now you can do it, without expending that material component, or not needing to have that material component.
Yeah, and I think before then you get like object reading
Mm-hmm.
and
Things that didn't come up all that often in our games.
yeah, it was this is a very different feature than what you got previously.
Yeah, and it's limited by your channel divinity, which, sure, you have a limited number, but you gain more as you get more cleric levels. So
Yeah, and
oh, come
you
on.
get them back as well. So you get a bunch of free castings. That's not a bad deal at all. Level 6, Unfettered Mind. You gain telepathy out to 60 feet. When you use this telepathy, you can simultaneously contact a number of creatures equal to your wisdom modifier, minimum 1. Additionally, if your total for your intelligence check is lower than your wisdom score, you can use that score in place of the total. You figure 6th level, you might be rocking to 18 by then. Eventually, you're going to go up to a 20. So when you make it, when you do intelligence checks, you can be like, boom, they all start at 20.
So you gotta, you only have to wait until 6th level to gain that ability. So even if you're like, boom, I've got a 14 wisdom, you've gone a little bit lower. That's still pretty nice to be able to, like, all right, I'm not gonna get below this. And it's for intelligence checks, so it's not like something like, I know I've bitched a lot about the bar that's like, oh, well, I can't get lower than a 17 on my persuasion checks. Lore, getting knowledge, is something that kind of brings the story forward and lets you get into the exploration pillar a lot. So getting access to more lore, never have a problem with. Because especially if the DM has prepared something and you're like, oh, well, I failed my check, the DM is like, well, do I give it to him anyway? Like, I did all the work. So for something like this, might sound a little hypocritical. I'm down for this. The only issue, the only caveat, is the intelligence-based skill of investigation, which,
Mm.
it does get you forward in the story when you're trying to find something. So that's more of
Yeah,
a,
but dude, you got that unfettered mind.
you do have an unfettered mind. So I like this. This is definitely a far different take than what clerics got before. And I know, like, the early 8th level abilities that clerics used to get from their subclasses I hated. So I'm definitely digging this aspect here.
All right, level 17, Divine Foreknowledge. As a bonus action, you magically expand your mind to the possibilities of the future. For 1 hour, you have advantage on D20 tests. Once you use this feature, you can't use it again until you finish a long rest. You can also restore the use of this feature by expending a level 6 plus spell slot. No action required. Actually, I think this ability is really good. Just the blanket, you just have advantage every time you drop a D20.
The aspect of this, when I first read it, I was flabbergasted. If you're not familiar with the 2024 rules, they've broken down, the concept of attack rolls, saving throws, and ability checks to this blanket term of a D20 test. So all of those things fall under that, so that they've got verbiage so that they don't need to say attack roll, saving throws, and ability checks every time that they want to give it to everything. So they just have it, this classification. So to be able to be like, for an hour, everything you do has advantage. That's holy crap. And it's a bonus action to bring it forward. So you're like, I think things are going to be a little bit challenging ahead. Boom, I see everything.
Yeah,
I,
it's
that's cool to take this in. And this is like combining telepathy, this divine foreknowledge, and mind magic. This is where like the psionic bent of this, class all kind of like comes together. Like, sure, divine foreknowledge could be, worded as an aspect of, oh, the gods are telling you, what the possibilities of the future are. Or it could just be like you are so in tune with your mind that you are seeing things happening faster than what everybody else is. So you're able to have that better chance of success because you're freaking Doctor Stranging it. You're like, all right, I know the way to go here.
or I was thinking about Sherlock Holmes, where
Sure.
he kind of like sees everything before it happens. So yeah, it's a good capstone ability for this particular subclass of the cleric. There's many of them that have been heartbreakers, but this isn't one of them. Now that being said, you have to wait till 17th level to get it, but it's a decent one at least.
I think it's far better than decent. I think that's a powerful level 17 ability, and it makes you definitely say, when you're looking at this class, like, well, I am not multi-classing out because I need to get to that quickly,
Yeah.
or as
So
quickly as
thumbs
possible.
up on the knowledge domain cleric.
Absolutely. I give it my stamp. All right, so we're going to talk about the 2024 version of the Purple Dragon Knight Fighter in the subclass in Unearthed Arcana 2025 Forgotten Realms. So let's dive into the Herald of Majesty of Amethyst Dragons. The Purple Dragon Knights are paragons of valor and leadership who partner with Amethyst Dragons. Such knights aspire to protect the innocent and rally fellow adventurers to the cause of justice and freedom. Although the Purple Dragons were originally founded in Cormyr, new recruits are enlisted from any realms where chivalry is in abundance, including the Silver Marches, Damara, and Chesenta. Characters with this subclass are special among the Order. Unlike most Purple Dragons who partner with Amethyst Dragons who've already reached adulthood, a Purple Dragon Knight character psionically bonds with an Amethyst Dragon hatchling. This bond irrevocably transforms both dragon and knight, allowing the dragon to grow in strength alongside its partner.
So third level, first thing you get is Nightly Envoy. You learn one language of your choice, which you choose from language tables in the player's handbook. Additionally, you can cast Comprehend Languages spell, but only as a ritual. Intelligence is your spellcasting ability for it, but that's not
So
all you get at third level.
I think it's put in there so that it's like, all right, you can take Draconic, and if you haven't, I recommend it. But in case you already did, choose something. So I pity the fool who doesn't have Draconic who takes this class, because it's just silly. But it's there.
Well,
But level 3, go ahead.
uh, so it's there, and also like the original subclass was also very kind of courtly anyway. So
Mhm.
I think
Uh,
that
so
that's
level
a part of it as well.
Sure. So level 3, you're gonna get a purple dragon companion. So you bond with an amethyst dragon. You use the companion stat block that's in here. It takes its action on your turn, and just like all the other companions, it can move and do stuff on its own, but it only takes the dodge action unless you use a bonus action to command it. Um, as with all companions, if it dies, you can take a magic action to touch the dragon and expend a use of your second wind to return it to life after 1 minute. all its hit points are restored. Otherwise, you can perform an hour-long ceremony to resurrect the dragon. The ceremony can be formed as part of a short or long rest. Yeah, and again, the stat block is in here. That's got things that are related to your proficiency bonus and your fighter level. Which is nice.
Yeah, it's not bad. And also it has a breath weapon. The gravity breath is kind of cool. It gets better as you go up in level. It does a tiny bit of damage, but it has more of a control effect. Or no, it doesn't do any damage, does it? It's just a control effect where you get to either pull or push with a 15-foot cone. The dragon has a little bit of damage it can do. It's force damage, which is good because there are very few things that are going to resist that.
Indeed. What I like about this stat block is its AC is boosted by your intelligence modifier. Its hit points are affected by your fighter level, and its where was there? The stalwart bond, you add your half your proficiency bonus to any ability checks or saving throws the dragon makes. So those are nice. So you've got multiple things that affect this particular stat block rather than just a single thing.
The only thing that's going to be rough, and a lot of these are like that, is the hit points, right? Because 4 times your fighter level, you're going to get it at third level. It's going to have 12 hit points. That's
4 plus, so it's 4
oh
plus
yeah
4 times
yeah.
fighter level, so 16. So it's gonna die. It's gonna die a lot. Um,
When you go up in level, it's going to still die a lot because things are doing a lot of damage. But you get to have a dragon friend. Uh, Speaking
oh,
of dragon friends, at 7th level, Dragon Rider, you and your purple dragon gain the following benefits: Dragon Mount. The dragon grows to medium size. What have you been feeding this thing? You can use the dragon as a mount if you are medium or smaller. But while you're riding it, the dragon falls at the end of its turn if it is airborne, and the only thing holding it aloft is its fly speed. It takes you only 5 feet of movement to mount or dismount the dragon. Improved gravity breath. The dragon's gravity breath becomes a 30-foot cone. When a creature fails a saving throw against the gravity breath, the creature also takes 2d6 force damage. That's the damage I was thinking about. Shared second wind. When you use your second wind to regain hit points, the dragon also regains hit points equal to die 6 plus your fighter level, and it regains 1 use of its gravity breath, which is cool. So at 7th level, it starts getting remarkably better.
it gets better. So the ability to share the second wind is gonna help keep it alive. But it's still not gaining enough hit points. Like to me, I would think if it's gonna share your second wind, it should be able to get all of it. Like it should be getting the die plus your fighter level. Just like you do. So I would make
The other problem is its armor class is going off of your intelligence modifier, and you're a fighter.
sure, but you're an intelligent fighter. Like, if you look at your Eldritch Knight, your Eldritch Knight is going to be boosting their intelligence to up those spells. So like sure, you're this kind of character I see, like, okay, you're gonna be looking for strength, constitution, and intelligence. And intelligence might be your second choice. You might not have quite the hit points that other fighters tend to have. Uh,
Putting
but
you on par with your dragon.
possibly.
Yeah.
Level 10, you're going to get Rallying Surge. When you use your action surge, you can choose up to 3 allies within 30 feet, within a 30-foot emanation originating from you. Each ally can take a reaction to use one of the following. Advance, the ally makes 1 attack with a weapon or an unarmed strike. If your purple dragon is one of the allies using advance, the dragon can make 1 rend attack. Retreat, the ally moves up to half its speed without provoking opportunity attacks. So to me, this is a really, really great, tactical ability, and having the option to be able to, get some attacks or move. It doesn't necessarily say like you have to retreat, It just is like, okay, tactically, we need to adjust the battlefield, hoot, hoot, hoot. And three people get to, adjust where they are. And if you're on your mount and the mount moves, you go along with it. So this is a scenario where technically four creatures could be adjusting where they are on the battlefield at the same time.
Yeah, I guess. Oh, I mean, if you're all mounted, then the six creatures. But that being
Sure,
said,
sure.
while the mounts won't provoke attacks of opportunities, I think you will.
No, because you as the mount, if it is a creature using its movement to move away, it's forced movement for you.
Mm.
So therefore, the mount choosing to leave would provoke, but this ability stops the provoke. So yeah, it's one of those little things. I was looking at this and I was trying to go through this
Yeah.
circular logic, be like, all right, well, how would this work? So I was seeing you comment. I had it prepared.
Usually they see us coming in the other direction, but All right. 15th level, Amethyst Pinnacle. You and your purple dragon gain the following benefits: superior mount. Purple dragon grows to a large size. Both its speed and its fly speed increase to 40 feet. Additionally, the dragon no longer falls at the end of a turn if airborne while you're riding it. That's great. Tandem attack. When you take the attack action on your turn, you can forego one of your attacks to command the dragon to make one rend attack. Alternatively, you can forego two of your attacks to command the dragon to use gravity breath. Is it not only a bonus action to command the dragon to take its own actions, though?
Yes, but you could use the attack action and be like, okay, I'm gonna make like at this level, okay, I get three attacks, so I'll hit once. I'll have you do a gravity breath, then I'll use a bonus action to command you. Then you're gonna use your gravity breath again. It's a 30-foot cone that's gonna do, 2d6 damage and then 2d6 damage. So you're gonna like really pull somebody, in a direction that you want to go. So you can have a little bit of fun with it. Um, so it's more choice.
It is more choice, but I will say as a fighter, hitting things would be a better option.
I would think so, but it is what it is. Um, perhaps you're in a situation that you can't really do what you want to do, so the dragon having the options, it's there.
It is there.
Finishing off 18th level, you're going to get Enduring Commander. You and your purple dragon have resistance to force and psychic damage. So the psychic, there's been a little bit of psionics kind of sprinkled in here with its verbiage. So I think that's why they put that in there so that you can be like, yeah, psychic. Makes sense.
Well, and that's because the crystal dragons are psionic.
Psionic.
Well,
That's true.
so I just want to say something. I was very excited to see the Purple Dragon Knight was going to get a do-over.
Hmm.
Then I read it. Um, the original Purple Dragon Knight, it had nothing to do with dragons, and the thing that was cool about it was that it was kind of a buffing fighter subclass, but it wasn't good because all of its abilities relied on fighters' abilities like Second Wind and Action Surge. And the problem with those is it's making your core fighter abilities better and more versatile, but you don't get any more uses of them. So, which has always been my problem with the Purple Dragon Knight, which this has some of that baked into it as well. Where like when you look at the other subclasses for fighter or pretty much almost anything, you're getting new things to do and you're getting more things to do. With this, or with the old one, the problem was it was making the things you already had to do better, but you didn't get any more. So, in my opinion, it kind of left you at a deficit. And I would have loved to see them take that subclass and just make it better instead of adding like the dragon friend. That's just my two coppers.
Sure. There's a lot of people who want to ride dragons. So I definitely understand the direction to come here.
I
Um,
also think the Drake Warden Ranger subclass is better too, right? And it's like a better way to have the dragon. So we'll see what they do
Sure.
in the final, but for me, I'm like, all right, I probably
Non,
would not look to play this.
you're nonplussed here.
I am nonplussed here.
Well, it is what it is.
All right. Oath of the Noble Genie, Unearthed Arcana 2025 for the Forgotten Realms. This one's for the Paladins. Brandish the elemental splendor of genies. Paladins sworn to the Oath of the Noble Genies revere the forces of the elemental planes. Through taking this oath, Paladins draw power from the four different types of genies: Deo, Masters of Earth; Jinn, Masters of Air; Afriti, Masters of Fire; and Myriads, Masters of Water, to create a splendid and destructive display of elemental might. On Faerun, many paladins who swear this oath hail from Kalashan, in a land rife with genie kind. Despite their strong local ties, these Kalashite paladins often undertake quests that take them all over the realms and across the multiverse, including naturally the elemental planes. These paladins share the following tenets: beget creation with destruction, lead with splendor and grace, respect the elements, and fear their wrath.
So again, the lore on this subclass is awesome, and without getting into any of the abilities, which I liked, I was like, all right, I've played a little bit of Paladin, I've played several different subclasses. Tell me more. That is what that spoke to me. I'm ready to dive into this kind of Paladin if the situation were to call.
Agreed. I think we're on the same page so far.
So level 3 Elemental Smite. Immediately after you cast Divine Smite, you can expend one use for your channel divinity and invoke one of the following effects: Dow's Crush. The target has the grappled condition. While grappled, the target has the restrained condition. Ginny's Escape. You teleport to an unoccupied space you can see within 30 feet of yourself and take on a mist-like form, which lasts until the end of your next turn. While in this form, you have immunity to the grappled, prone, and restrained conditions. Afridi's Fury. The target takes an extra 2d4 fire damage. The target and each creature of your choice in a 10-foot emanation originating from you makes a strength save against your spell save DC. On a failed save, the creature is pushed 15 feet straight away from you and has the prone condition.
So, right, a lot of times the downside to an ability that just makes other abilities that you already have um, better is that you don't have enough uses. But when it comes to your paladins and their smites, they usually have a ton of smites, so that's not a problem. And also, when I look at the paladin, I'm thinking, paladin would be so much better if only their smite was better. Um,
Well,
uh,
it does say when you cast your Divine Smite, you can use your Channel Divinity, which those are limited.
yes, those are limited. You only get a couple of them. But
So
that
you're
being
not doing
said,
these things off.
you're going to be smiting a lot as a paladin, and now you have more options when you do smite to make it even better than it already is.
Yes.
People couldn't tell I was being facetious.
Oh.
Um, you don't need spell slots anyway. You're just gonna smite. Level 3, you get your genie spells, which at third level, chromatic orb, elementalism, and thunder smite. Level 5, mirror image and phantasmal force. 9 is fly and gaseous form. 13, conjure minor elementals, summon elemental, and 17, banishing smite, contact other plane. So they're getting a good mix of spells to add to their spell lists. If they decide to not use those slots for smiting, now they have some other cool things they can do.
And it's a good mix of stuff that allows you to do some non-paladin-y things, which I really like. I mean, sure, your smite spells are standard for you, but fly, gaseous form, summoning elementals, or contacting other plane, those aren't things paladins normally do.
Right. Or mirror
So
image, but mirror image is
or mirror
cool
image, sure.
because it fits with the like kind of like the desert mirage kind of thing to me.
Absolutely. So I was all for the spell list. And the next ability was like, whoa, this is not Paladin. What the hell? So third level Genie Splendor. When you aren't wearing medium or heavy armor, you gain a bonus to your AC equal to your charisma modifier, minimum of +1. You also gain proficiency in one of the following skills of your choice: acrobatics, intimidation, performance, or persuasion. Um,
Well, this
you know,
region of Faerun is like deserts. So
mhm,
it just makes sense, right? Like you wouldn't be wearing heavy armor in the desert. It's you're gonna die from heat stroke.
sure,
So
sure.
and also like this is the ultimate paladin for building the dex based paladin.
Absolutely. You get a nice dex and charisma going. You don't need strength. You don't need to slap on that heavy armor, and boom, you can be rocking a 22 AC while wielding a finesse weapon and what have you. It's absolutely awesome.
You can get up to a 24, I think, without
Well,
magic.
you get five from your dex, five from your charisma, two from a shield.
Two from armor. You can wear light armor.
That's true. You wear a suit of leather armor.
Studded leather give you a plus, +2. That's a 24, and that's without any magic. So
That's
not bad
pretty,
at all.
pretty nice. Level 7, you're going to get Aura of Elemental Shielding. Choose one of the following damage type: acid, cold, fire, lightning, or thunder. You and your allies have resistance to the damage while in your Aura of Protection. At the start of each of your turns, you can change the damage type affected by this feature to one of the others listed. No action required. So like, oh, it's fire right now. Oh, we're gonna go fight a white dragon. Okay, it's cold now.
Yeah, so
Start there.
that's a nice seventh level ability for the auras.
Yeah, that's a really, really good one. So far I feel this paladin is stacking up quite nicely.
We're not done though. Level 15, Elemental Rebuke. When you are hit by an attack roll, you can take reaction to halve the attack damage against yourself round down and force the attacker to make a dexterity saving against your spell save DC. On a failed save, the attacker takes damage equal to 4d10 plus your charisma modifier. The damage is one of the following types, your choice: acid, cold, fire, lightning, or thunder. On a successful save, the attacker takes half as much damage. You can use this feature a number of times equal to your charisma modifier, minimum once. Gain all expended uses when you finish a long rest. So, one, you're getting, the half the damage, almost like uncanny dodge of the rogue, but also like hellish rebuke. The spell, you're dishing out damage. This is pretty nice. You get limited uses, but it's a nice ability.
And another reason to bump up that charisma to be able to get more uses out of it.
Well, yeah,
Again,
and I mean, let's face it, you're a paladin. Like, I don't know anyone that generally doesn't max out their charisma when they play about paladin, if for nothing else, for just for the saving throw.
sure, sure. And it's a great ability, but we're not done. Level 20, Noble Scion. As a bonus action, you gain the benefits below for 10 minutes. Uh, once you use this feature, you can't use it again until you finish a long rest. You can also use a 5th level spell slot to restore it. You have a fly speed of 60 feet. Minor wish. When you or an ally in your aura of protection fails a D20 test, you can take a reaction to make the D20 test succeed instead.
So I will say, as a capstone ability, it's so-so. Right?
Really?
Yeah, I think it's so-so. We've seen other abilities that are better than this one. Um, you
Well,
know,
to basically have anybody within 30 feet of you as an ally who fails any kind of D20 test for you to take a reaction to just say, nope, you passed every round, every round.
yeah. Oh, okay. I mean, compared to some of the other paladin capstone abilities, like
Failed a saving throw, failed an attack roll every round. Like
yeah,
there isn't a round that goes by. Like I don't know how often a paladin is using their reaction. Sure, for your elemental rebuke, you've got this thing to do. But I read Minor Wish, and I'm like, at 20th level, how many different types of D20 tests are going to be made in combat, out of combat, that you could just be like, got it, got it, got it. I read this ability and I was like, Holy shit, that's
That's true, and at this
amazing.
point, it'll be 30 feet too. So
Yeah, yeah, 30 feet. You could just be like, yep, you got it. You got it. For 10 minutes every
yeah,
single round. You tell somebody you are so awesome. You don't re-roll, you don't add a little bonus. No, you just are that much better because I'm around. You succeed. You
I
succeed.
stand corrected. I think I was thinking like you're gonna get roll advantage or whatever in my brain, but no,
No,
you're right.
no, you just succeed because of me. And it's not just an ally. It works for you too.
Yeah, yeah. You're like somebody. One of you mother effers better fail a roll because I need to make someone succeed.
I read this and I'm like, yep, this is amazing. And as a capstone, sure, it's not going to get a super amount of use, but that's sealed it. If I'm playing a paladin, in an upcoming game, this is the paladin I'm playing.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, between the flavors, the features, this is a good mix. This is a good like even uh when I wasn't quite feeling the capstone ability, like that wouldn't have mattered to me anyway because everything else is so good.
Hmm.
And I just like the flavor. I like the idea that you're a paladin that kind of serves genies, and had the elemental thing going on, or
Oh
if
yeah, and I would buy so hard into the theme. I'd just be like, all right, I have to figure out which one, but I'm playing a Genasi, and I'm rolling with this.
oh you're going full tilt.
Absolutely.
It,
That would be the way to go, in my
a
opinion.
little bit. It made me think of the paladin from what was it? Threat from the Sea from that series
Oh,
from
gee,
Forgotten Realms.
that's that was a long time ago. I could not tell you a lot of
Well, one of the
specific.
major characters was a paladin, and but because most of it took place at sea, like so they weren't wearing armor, and he was more of a
Right.
dex based character, like the way he was
Sure.
described.
Mhm.
So a little bit like it kind of made me like think of that character. Right. Winter Walker Ranger from the Unearthed Arcana 2025 Forgotten Realms subclasses.
All right, withstand the horrors of frigid wastelands. Winter walkers hone their craft in the bleak and frozen wilds of the places like Icewind Dale. Rhymed with ice, these ruthless rangers hunt the monsters that haunt Arctic wastelands, eventually becoming frigid terrors themselves. More so than any other rangers of Icewind Dale, winter walkers are known to be well versed in the paranormal phenomenon specific to the realm, including the latent magic of fallen Netherese cities, endemic monsters like Yetis and Crag Cats, and the rising threat of the Underdark invaders. In exchange for their cold pragmatism, terrifying magic, and mastery of the regions, these Winter Walkers are regarded with equal parts respect and fear. 10 town citizens say that it is a Winter Walker's frequent exposure to malignant entities that gives them their fearsome powers. Many rigid nomads, on the other hand, believe that nature spirits bestow winter walkers with a unique curse.
All right, man.
Reading
I'm totally vibing with the feel already. But of course, I mean, Nerdarchy did create the Stygian Ranger, which was a ranger that survived dying from hypothermia, or or almost died from hypothermia, or something of that nature, and then kind of comes back. So we're already vibing with this before it was a thing.
all right now, my only problem, like to me, this paragraph reads the way a lot of uh other, shall we say, less experienced gamers write their backstories.
Mm.
I don't feel like when you compare what the core ranger of 2024 is bringing to the table, that it's going to bring enough to match the verbiage that has just been set forth. uh as
So
far as
you're
things
saying the
go,
2024 Ranger doesn't live up to the subclass so far?
yes.
Okay.
Now at its core, at its lore, absolutely love the way this reads. Now, having read a lot of Forgotten Realms novels and spending a lot of time in Icewind Dale, I don't get the paranormal phenomenon of Icewind Dale,
Yeah, I
but
think that has to do with the adventure they wrote for Icewind Dale because it was more horror themed. Now they're trying to
So
shoehorn everything into that.
so maybe there is more out there than what I have since paid attention to.
Like you
Uh
you you played in that, right? Rime of the Frost Maiden.
yeah.
Yeah, so that's what they're vibing off, really.
Oh, okay. Well, like I didn't fully get the horror of it because I did a shortened version. We
Mm.
were already kind of powerful by the time we got there and what have you.
Hard is hard in
Uh
D&D to begin with.
that is true.
Yeah, I mean,
Um
you
but
build characters that are designed to kill monsters. Well, a lot of part of horror is being afraid of the monsters. Well, it's like we kill
I,
the monsters.
yeah. So like
We
I,
are
I
the
don't think
monsters.
I don't think Icewind Dale brings the same horror aspect that Ravenloft does. So
Uh,
like well, playing Ravenloft, I can feel the vibe, and I'm not trying to bring any kind of slight to the DM who ran Rime of the Frost Maiden. It was a different feel of a game than what it is when we're playing Strahd.
Next time I
Uh,
see him, I'll be like, Ted says you're not scary. Um, so jumping into it, level 3, you get Frigid Explorer, Frost Resistance, so you have resistance to cold, Polar Strikes. When you hit a creature with a weapon, you can deal an extra D4 cold damage on the target, which can take this extra damage only once per turn. The extra damage ignores resistance to cold. When you reach Ranger level 11, the extra damage increases to a die 6, so you get some more damage to stack onto your Hunter's Mark.
all right, let me break Polar Strikes down a moment. When you hit a creature with a weapon strike, you deal an extra D4 cold damage, and the creature can only take the damage once a turn. So does that mean if I hit two creatures in one turn, they each can take a die 4? Normally, it would say you can only use this die 4 once per turn. This specifically
The
says
target.
the
Yeah, I would read
target.
it that way as well.
So I find I don't know whether that is a verbiage error that was not picked up on, or whether it is intentionally meant to. This ranger is designed to spread out damage.
Well, if you're playing in my game, Ted, I give it to you. You can spread out the damage.
So I like that aspect of well, we're gonna do something different with this guy. Um, Level 3 Hunter's Rhyme. Ice rhymes you and your prey, protecting you and slowing them. When you cast Hunter's Mark, you gain temporary hit points equal to 1d10 plus your ranger level. Additionally, while a creature is marked by Hunter's Mark, it can't take the disengage action. Um, that's cool that it's building upon Hunter's Mark. Sure, you're a ranger, you're probably going to be casting this a lot, so just getting additional effects, pretty cool.
Yeah,
Um,
temporary hit points, and it's not a small amount of temporary hit points either. You're looking at 4 to 13 right from the get go. So that, especially at third level, that can neutralize an attack on you.
Absolutely.
And also, those pesky goblins that always want to disengage.
It's stop. You're not getting away. Level 3, you're also going to get your Winter Walker spells. Level 3, you get Ice Knife. 5 is Pass Without a Trace. 9, Remove Curse. 13 is Ice Storm, and 17th level Cone of Cold. A ranger being able to cast Cone of Cold, that's badass. I love it.
Yeah, Ice Storm, Ice Knife, Pass Without. These are all bangers, right? Remove Curse, but
Well, it fits the cursey,
yeah.
horror
Also,
aspect
remove
of
curse. It's one of those things. It's like insurance, right? Insurance is useless until you actually need it.
it.
Seventh level, Fortifying Soul. Your experience surviving harrowing environments allows you to bolster your allies. In addition to yourself, when you finish a short rest, you can choose a number of creatures you can see equal to your Wisdom modifier, minimum 1. Chosen creatures regain hit points equal to a die 10 plus your Ranger level, and have has advantage on saving throws to avoid or end the frightened condition for 1 hour. Once you use this feature, you can't use it again until you finish the long rest. I mean, a little extra healing. This one feels a little weak to me.
I would agree. I would honestly be like, the advantage on the frightened condition or ending it, I would literally just be like until you rest again. Like it's not that big a deal.
Yeah.
Um, you know, and I don't understand why your ranger is is healing when you short rest. That doesn't particularly fit to me. I feel like they're like, well, what else can we just shoehorn into this? Okay, well, shove.
You're
Um,
hardy. The people around you should feel better because you're hardy.
uh,
Level
level
11.
11, level 11, chilling retribution. When a creature hits you with an attack roll, you can take a reaction to force the creature to make a wisdom save. On a failed save, the target has a frightened condition until the end of your next turn. While frightened, the target's speed is reduced to 0. You can use this reaction other times equal to your wisdom modifier, and you regain all expended uses when you finish a long rest. So all in all, not bad. It ties into the raw you're scary. Um, you know,
Yeah, and it's very much like about this subclass is like about locking your enemies down, kind of. So you have that going on. I mean, this is okay. Um, it's
it's
not
not
bad,
horrible.
but it's also 11th level too. So I feel like so far I feel like we peaked at third level.
Sure, you got a lot of great stuff. But let's see if level 15's Frozen Haunt, seals the case, seals the cake. When you cast Hunter's Mark, you can adopt a ghostly, snowy form. This form lasts until the spell ends. Uh, and while you're in this form, you gain the following benefits. Once you use this feature, you can't use it again until you finish a long rest or expend a level 4 spell slot, no action required. Frozen Soul. You have immunity to cold damage. When you first adopt this form at the start of each of your subsequent turns, each creature of your choice within 15-foot emanation originating from you takes 2d4 cold damage. And partially incorporeal. You have immunity to grappled, prone, and restrained conditions. You can move through creatures and objects as if it were difficult terrain. You'll take a die 10 force damage if you end your turn inside another object or form. If the form ends and you're inside a creature, you are shunted to the nearest unoccupied space.
But
Uh,
I'd say the
so
biggest thing is like you're just doing damage to things that are near you.
yeah, so again, it goes with that aspect of you're spreading out damage. That's what I'm looking for. Being able to get immunity to cold and immunity to conditions. It's again, every time you're casting Hunter's Mark, which is stacking on top of your Hunter's Rhyme ability. So you're gonna want to be doing these things, often. Um, and it lasts while the spells is going on. So if you've got a way to extend that spell or what have you, you have the ability to kind of make this thing, you get more use out of your abilities. Um, so I feel this subclass really doubles down on Hunter's Mark. So if you're a ranger that's not using it, don't take this subclass because most of your abilities that are good are relying on that.
Well, yeah, you eventually extend your hunter's mark out pretty far, like 8 hours. So technically, you could keep this thing going for a while.
Indeed.
So thematically, this is really cool. It starts out strong, kind of starts to peter out in the middle, and then gets a little, and then gets good again towards the end. Thematically, it's very much all about locking down opponents while you yourself are unhindered. Is the vibe that I get from it is what I'm feeling going on.
I would agree.
So Scion of the three rogue subclass for the Forgotten Realms for Unearthed Arcana 2025. Become a gruesome agent of malice. A scion of the three draws power from a group of malevolent gods known as the Dead Three: Bane, deity of tyranny; Baal, deity of violence and murder; and Merkel, deity of death. While some rogues of this subclass pledge themselves ardently to those three macabre gods, others find themselves thrust on the path by a curse. Either way, a scion's power manifests as various occult gifts, as well as an uncanny talent for striking and terrifying foes. Scions of the three are most common in Baldur's Gate, where the Dead Three have long competed for influence over mortal hearts. Underground cults of Bane, Baal, and Merkel often count Scions of the Three among their most useful agents. Outside of Baldur's Gate, secular thieves guilds such as the Shadow Thieves of or Xanathar's Guild and Waterdeep might cautiously call on a scion of the three to undertake an especially violent contract.
So I felt this one, spoke just as powerfully to me as the Ranger subclass that we talked about previously. But here it's building upon the aspect of a solid class of rogue. So this is another one in this whole Unearthed Arcana that I'm like, I am down for this. Tell me more, please.
Yeah, it doesn't feel very heroic though.
True, but of the classes in D&D, Rogue is one that I feel very easily leans towards the aspect of, the non-hero, the other being Warlock, of course. But when I look at this one, uh like it gives you the buy-in right in that narrative description of, well, you don't necessarily have to be working with the dead three. Maybe you've got some kind of curse. Some malice has affected you for you to gain
You've been
these kind
cursed.
of
You're
powers.
really good at killing people now.
So like I like that they spread out some options to give it like, okay, well,
Uh,
we're gonna do this. So let's dive into some abilities. Level 3, you're gonna get Bloodthirst. If your sneak attack hits a bloodied creature, the target takes extra damage of the weapon's type equal to half your rogue level. In addition, when an enemy you can see is reduced to 0 hit points, you can take a reaction to teleport to an unoccupied space you can see within 30 feet of yourself. You can then make one melee attack. You use this reaction number of times equal to your intelligence modifier, minimum once, and you regain all expended uses when you finish a long rest.
so yeah, we're starting off really strong. You're doing extra damage, especially when things are injured. That ability to use reaction to teleport an attack is super sweet, especially if happens on someone else's turn, because now you can sneak attack again.
Yeah. So all in all, this is incredibly powerful as a third level ability. It gives you utility of moving around the battlefield, getting the ability to shell out extra damage. Um, and I'm all for it. Like,
Also, we're
utterly great.
also using the bloody condition too, right? Which is something that is ported over from fourth edition into the 2024 rule set. So it's just kind of cool. I mean, and I feel like our group, even though we haven't played fourth edition in forever, still use that term oftentimes just because it's really easy for players and the DM to convey information, with one word. It's bloodied. So, but we're not done for
Absolutely.
third level. We also get Dread Allegiance. Choose one of the dead three, Bane, Ball, or Merkel. Gain resistance to one type of damage and the ability to cast a cantrip as detailed in the table below. Intelligence is your spellcasting ability, and when you finish a long rest, you change your choice. So you have options. Bane is psychic and gives you minor illusion. Ball, poison, and blade ward. Merkel, necrotic, and chill touch.
So all in all, three, two of the rarer types of damage. If you go to ball, like, all right, you're gonna get resistance to poison damage. There's a couple of races that you definitely don't want to be choosing that. But then minor illusion, blade ward, and chill touch are some interesting things. All in all, I think ball is probably your weaker choice amongst the three.
Well, I mean, poison damage comes up fairly often, but you get the weaker cantrip, unless they've improved blade ward from the previous iteration. But the trade off is, well, poison and fire are like the most two common um damage types you're going to encounter. So you know I would say that that would be your reason for taking it, because you're going to get a lot of use out of it. Um, oh yeah, Blade Lord lasts a minute now. It is way better.
It's way minute and a concentration, and you take a D4 off the attack.
Yes, so that's way better than before. It was you cast it, lasts a round, and it's resistance. Where the resistance is better, but also you're just using your action to cast it, so you're not really doing anything but soaking damage.
Right.
So yeah, so I would say I don't think that's the weakest choice.
Okay. Well,
Plus, also
that's
you're also well, minor illusion is nice for utility, but as a rogue, you want to use weapons because that's your bread and butter. That's where you're doing your damage.
Sure, sure.
Chill touch is going to be there's nothing next to a sneak attack.
That is true, but it's also ranged.
It's ranged.
So ninth level, you're going to get Strike Fear. You get the following Cunning Strike options. Terrify, it costs a D6. The target must succeed on a Wisdom saving throw, or it has a frightened condition for a minute. Frightened target repeats the save at the end of each of its turns. Um, so it's an extra thing that you can do, with your Cunning Strike. And if you're not familiar with the 2024 versions, you basically can sacrifice 1d6 of your sneak attack pool to cause the terrify, in your strike. Uh, so I'm really fond of the Cunning Strike options of the rogue, giving them a little bit more versatility with what they do. Um, and I love that the fact of subclasses being able to give even more options.
Yeah, it's definitely very, very cool. So level 13, Aura of Malevolence. You radiate malignant power associated with one of the dead three. Start of each of your turns. Each creature of your choice within 10-foot emanation originating from you takes damage equal to your intelligence modifier. Minimum 1. The damage type is the same as damage resistance granted by your choice in the Dread Allegiance feature. Damage dealt by the aura ignores resistance. The aura is inactive while you have the incapacitated condition. So it's just another way to do damage. Like, you're just doing so much damage uh with this subclass.
And we're going to top this off with level 17, Dread Incarnate. You gain the following benefits. Battle Tyrant. You have advantage on attack rolls against any creature with a frightened condition. Murderous Intent. When you roll for your sneak attack damage, you can treat any roll of a 1 or a 2 on the die as a 3. So that means every sneak attack die does a 3 to 6, not
Yes.
a 1. Uh,
So
that's
that's an
nice.
improvement. Also, if other people in your party can also make things afraid, when you make things afraid, advantage, and also that means also now it's easier for you to get attacks off because of that. Not that it's particularly hard to get a sneak attack as a rogue to begin with, but it just got easier.
Yep. It's like, oh, well, you're frightened, so therefore sneak. Sneaky, 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 sneaky.
All the sneaks. So, I mean, this is a strong subclass being slapped on top of us, one of the strongest character classes in the game.
Completely agree.
Yeah, no complaints there. Matter of fact, I think I like this one better than the assassin for a murdery subclass. To be honest with you, I just think you got some fun things to do.
Okay, I think it's time to look at the Spellfire Sorcery for Sorcerer. This is in the Unearthed Arcana 2025 Forgotten Realms. Radiate Raw Magic Potential. Your innate power stems from the source of magic itself, the Weave. This connection manifests as a rare ability known as Spellfire, and you surge with a radiant burst of this raw magic. Your talent with Spellfire allows you to heal allies, sear enemies, and absorb powerful spells. Wielders of Spellfire tend to be adventurous souls with a penchant for wandering. Many travel between cosmopolitan settlements, such as those along the Sword Coast, and wield their magic in service of the common good. Others prioritize this realization of their own strange powers by roaming equally strange lands, from the magic blasted wastes of the Anarok Desert to the god-touched wilds of the old empires. Wherever they go in the realm, Spellfire sorcerers are often courted by factions with an interest in the arcane arts, such as the Harpers and the Cult of the Dragon.
That sums it up, man. I don't know if you read all the Spellfire
Yeah,
books, but I did.
yeah, they were a good read, many years ago.
Now, if you're expecting your Spellfire to do it the characters in that book could do, you're gonna be a little bit disappointed. But
That's true.
let's jump into it. Level 3 Spellfire Burst. When you spend at least one sorcery point as part of a magic action or a bonus action on your turn, you can unleash one of the following magical effects of your choice. You can do so only once per turn. Bolstering Flames. You or one creature you can see within 30 feet of yourself gains temporary hit points equal to D4 plus your charisma modifier. Radiant Fire. One creature you can see within 30 feet of yourself must succeed on a dexterity saving throw against your spell save DC or take a D6 fire or radiant damage, your choice. So it's just a way to either buff or harm allies and enemies while you're using your sorcery points.
I love, any kind of subclass that is like, oh, here's something that you're already going to be doing.
Yeah,
Let's give you more for the use of that ability. That only inspires you to use that resource more often, and sorcery points, like it's like candy. You're going to keep using them, and to gain additional benefits for using them, it's like that's like, oh, you've got money, have some more. Like
yeah.
that's just great. Um, but it goes further at level 3. You're going to get spellfire spells. So as a sorcerer, you're going to add these to your, spells that or have prepared, whatever you want to call it. You've got cure wounds, guiding bolt, lesser restoration, scorching ray. 5th level, aura of vitality and dispel magic. Level 7, fire shield, wall of fire. Level 9, greater restoration and flame strike. Holy crap, could you be like, all right, well, I know that you want to be a blasty thing, and then I know you over there want to be a healy thing. Well, you know what? This sorcerer is going to do both and
Yeah.
be better at it than, everybody.
Yep. Now you can twin cure wounds. You can twin guiding bolt. In addition to
And greater
that, you just spent
restoration.
sorcery points, so now you can do more damage or more, buffing.
Yeah, I mean every selection in here is just great to be able to add to a sorcerer spell list, to just be like, yeah, all of the great things that sorcerers aren't known for to be doing, healing, curing the sick. Yeah, I got this. Aura vitality. Yeah, I got it.
But that's not
It's just
all.
it's just powerful.
Level 6 absorb spells. You also have counterspell prepared. Additionally, whenever a target fails a saving throw against counterspell, you regain 1d4 sorcery points. So, I mean, I guess that's the silver lining in what they've turned counterspell into. Uh so when it works, you also are siphoning off some of the magic into sorcery points, which, let's face it, you can never have too many of those.
Yeah, I mean, sorcery points are the thing that you always want to be refilling, especially when you're doing these extra effects from them. So now you're adding yet another spell to your list, and if you manage to blast away somebody's magic, you're taking a little bit of the spell out of the air. And sure, you've used a spell slot to cast it, but you're getting some of that magic right back.
And
Level 4,
yeah,
you're going to get honed spellfire. Your spellfire bursts improve. You add your sorcerer level to the temporary hit points gained from bolstering flames, and the 1d6 of radiant or fire increases to 3d6. So now your things are just better.
yeah, the good ability you had before just got a little better. Uh, Level 18, Crown of Spellfire. As a bonus action, gain the following benefits for a minute. Once you use this bonus action, you can't do so again until you finish a long rest, unless you spend 7 sorcery points. Burning Life Force. Once per turn, when you're hit by an attack roll, you can expend the number of hit dice up to a maximum equal to your charisma modifier, minimum of 1. Roll the expended dice and reduce the amount of damage from the attack equal to the total rolled plus your sorcerer level. So that's pretty nice. Flight, you gain a fly speed of 60 feet and can hover. Spell Avoidance. When you're subjected to a spell or magical effect that allows you to make a saving throw to take only half damage, you instead take no damage if you succeed on the saving throw, and only half damage if you fail. Can't use this benefit if you have the incapacitated condition. So basically, it's evasion, but for anything magical.
Which to me, this fits phenomenally with the spellfire sorcerer. With how good you are at just absorbing and redirecting magic.
You
I
don't want
don't
to
think
spell
there's
duel these guys at high
you know
level.
this is one of those things that I think like is a absolutely powerful spellcaster. Super super useful in a lot of specific situations. Um, and I don't think there's a bad ability in the lot.
No, this is strong. So Blade Singer for Wizard, Forgotten Realms subclasses, Unearthed Arcana 2025. So the
Wield
Blade,
sorcery, sorcerer, wield sword and sorcery in elegant tandem. Blade singers master a tradition of wizardry that incorporates swordplay and dance. In a combat, a blade singer uses a series of intricate, elegant maneuvers that fend off harm and allow the blade singer to channel magic into devastating attacks and cunning defense. Many who observed a blade singer at work remember the displays of one or more beautiful experiences in their life, a glorious dance accompanied by a singing blade. Blade singing is strongly associated with the ancient elven societies that first mastered the art and coined the term. Even today, most blade singers still hail from old elven realms, such as Cormanthor, or even the nine elven societies that share land and history with elves, such as the Silver Marshes. Wherever they hail from, blade singers are known for taking their talents all across the realms in order to help common people and perform heroic deeds. Few communities greet the arrival of a blade singer as anything but a good omen.
so starting at level 3, you get your Blade Song. As a bonus action, you evoke the elven magic called the Blade Song, provided you aren't wearing armor or using a shield. Blade Song lasts for 1 minute and ends early if you have the incapacity condition, if you don armor or a shield, or if you use two hands to make attack with a weapon. You can dismiss the Blade Song at any time, no action required. While the Blade Song is active, you gain the following benefits. You can invoke the Blade Song a number of times equal to your intelligence modifier, minimum once. You gain all of the expended uses when you finish a long rest. Agility, you gain a bonus to your AC equal to your intelligence modifier, minimum +1, and your speed increases by 10 feet. Blade work, whenever you attack with a weapon with which you have proficiency, you can use your intelligence modifier to attack and damage rolls instead of using strength or dexterity. Focus, when you make a constitution saving throw to maintain concentration, you can add your intelligence modifier to the total. So I mean, it's almost the same as the previous version, though I believe the only difference is before I believe you only added your intelligence to the attack roll, not the damage roll. Now you get to do both.
All right, so looking at this situation, they have changed the verbiage here. Uh Previously, whenever they talked about armor class, it would say your AC equals. And I just looked at this, and the one in the earlier paladin, and it both says you gain a bonus to your armor class. It doesn't have a formula,
Hmm.
which
No, because
would
it's not. The modifier is an addition to. It's not
so
like the draconic sorcerer or the barbarian or the monk.
right. Well, normally before, like, they've always been listed as a formula so that you couldn't stack them. But this is allowing for stacking the way it's currently worded.
Yeah, it was like that previously too. It's just while you do the blade song, you can add your intelligence
Okay.
to your armor class as long as you meet the other requirements. So, you could, if you're a barbarian raging, you could also blade sing, have the blade song going on, and add your intelligence to it. Or a monk could do the same.
Okay. That's crazy. But all right. So beyond that, at level 3, you're also going to get training in war and song. You gain proficiency with all melee martial weapons that don't have the two-handed or heavy property. You can use melee weapons with you have a proficiency as a spellcasting focus for your wizard spells. You also gain proficiency in one of the following skills of your choice: acrobatics, athletics, performance, or persuasion.
I think before too, I think you could wear light armor, and I think that's been removed. Um, so they took a little bit of a hit there. I don't know, chat. Let me know if
So
I'm wrong.
it does say it does say if you don armor or a shield.
Yeah,
Yeah, you used to get proficiency in melee weapons and light armor. Now you
yep.
don't.
It was too powerful. Sixth level.
Level
Actually,
6 you're getting level 6 you're getting extra attack. You can attack twice instead of once. It's fairly standard that they got before.
yeah, but moreover, you can cast one wizard cantrip as that has a casting time of an action in place of one of those attacks. So you can blast, which I believe you could do before, which is one of the things I actually do like. You can slice and blast or whatever
as
you're going to do.
they're supposed to be able to do.
Very thematic. Level 10, Song of Defense. When you take damage while Blade Song is active, you can take a reaction, expend one spell slot, and reduce the damage taken by an amount equal to 5 times the spell slot's level. That's the same. Very useful
Level
if you're
4.
trying to not have a spell stripped away from a concentration.
Absolutely. Level 14 and their final Song of Victory. After you cast a spell that is a casting time of an action, you can make one attack with a weapon as a bonus action.
Yep. So, you can again still attack, still cast spells. I don't know, I have a very different opinion of gishes and blade singers than I think the whole entirety of the internet. I generally think as a wizard you have better options than hitting it with a stick. Thematically, it's cool and it's fun to play, but at the end of the day, you're a wizard in melee, um, which is going to hurt a lot because you have wizard hit points. And as a blade singer, you have ways of really increasing your armor class and making it really hard to hit. The downside of that is when you do get hit, it's probably a crit. And there went most of your hit points. As a matter of fact, you're going to need to use your Song of Defense to not die.
So I look at this like, okay, Song of Victory. Now you're seventh level. Sorry, you've got access to seventh level spells. So it's like, all right, any one of your, you know, fifth, sixth, seventh level spells that you could cast is going to be far better, at doing. But sure, like, okay, well, I'll uh, I'll launch this spell and then as a bonus action, be able to, smack something with a weapon, um, for a little bit more damage. But
Yeah, I mean,
after.
there's certain spells you can use. What is it, Shadow Blade, that you can
Mhm.
do like decent damage with, and especially getting multiple attacks with it, can be pretty impressive, especially if you upcast it. But again, like at the same time, you could have done Cone of Cold and done a lot of damage in a huge area, right, and not be in the thick of it in the fray. It's a very
Right.
specific type, and like the argument I always hear is, well, you can do wizard stuff too, but if you look at the other wizard subclasses, they tend to make your wizard stuff better, where this is
Mhm.
kind of mitigating your weaknesses.
Right.
Again, it can be a lot of fun to play, and I've even played characters like that. But having done that, I realized a lot of the cool things I could do playing those characters often made me like a one trick pony.
So I feel like the only way to make your gishes better is if they had more gish specific spells.
Mm.
And that's something that I've been kind of loosely pondering in my head for, probably months now, as something that I want to at some point in time do. I want to make some more spells that will make gishes happy. So it's not just this handful of things that they can do. You're never going to completely balance things out because like it's a gish, it's not supposed to, and I don't want to make spells that are beyond the power of what it's supposed to be, but having some more options and being able to do some things could
You're
be
gonna
kind
make
of
the internet
cool.
angry. You can make the internet angry too. Um, so there are spells like Tensor's Transformation that are pretty good, but you won't get a lot of the benefits because you already have access to them as a blade singer. But
Mhm.
you get proficiency in strength and constitution saving throws. You do an extra 2d12 force damage, 50 temporary hit points, the advantage with attacks rolled when you make made with a simple or martial weapons. So I feel like maybe combining like Shadow Blade and Tensor's Transformation, uh, and things like that. Well, you can't even do that because I believe Shadow Blade is also a concentration spell. So it's really hard in 5e to combine those things, and you have to really like dig to see what things you can put together and combine. Um, you know, like I said, Blade Singer is not really for me. Gishes aren't for me as much. Like I had a long running character where I did it and it was fun, but That being said, casting a spell is generally better than hitting it with a stick, in my opinion. So I very much that sums up the 2025 Forgotten Realms subclasses. I didn't really see any questions. I know people have been watching and listening and getting our opinions. This is ran a little bit long for us, so we're going to bounce out now. But thanks for hanging out with us, and until next time, stay nerdy.
Stay nerdy.